Hi there, everybody. This is Tony O'Dowd here, and thank you very much for coming along to Tony's Tech Talks. These are monthly talks that are organised by our marketing group in conjunction with our clients worldwide, where they get to suggest a topic that I have to talk about, and I have to do it in less than 15 minutes, which can be quite a task and a challenge sometimes. Now, today we sent out 3 different topics, and the number 1 topic that got the highest number of votes, because as I said, the audience chooses the topics that I'm going to talk about today, is to talk about this new type of quality testing project that we've introduced called A/B testing into the technology called KantanLQR. And I guess the reason that this topic is quite popular today is that we're launching this new A/B testing project type in KantanLQR in conjunction with our new neural MT interface, which is in final test as we speak and will be available to all of our clients worldwide next week. So as of next week, you'll be able to experiment and run and in fact adapt and customize neural MT engines, which is a really exciting development. I think we're the first platform to allow our clients to build their own neural network MT systems in the industry today. So what is this A/B testing? What's it used for? Well, one of the big challenges that we're faced with neural MT is we know it's good, we know it's better in a lot of cases than statistical systems, but how good is it, and how do you evaluate how good the improvement is? Well, the only way to do that at the moment, because we don't have any numerical or empirical ways of comparing the outputs from statistical systems to neural MT systems, we can't use the blue score anymore because it's not valid. It doesn't really give you a good, accurate mathematical difference between those 2 outputs. The only way to do it really in our mind is to use professional translators. So what you need to be able to do is present some translation from a neural system in conjunction with a statistical system on the screen and ask the translator to actually choose which is the best. And that's what's referred to as A/B testing. It's a blind A/B testing. So the translator has no concept or idea as to where the translation is coming from. You're simply asking them to choose which is the best translation. And if you do that over a reasonably sized sample, you'll get a sense of how better neural MT is compared to SMT. Now, interesting enough, we ran one of these tests recently on a Spanish engine, and believe it or not, 68% of the translation was selected by professional translators came from a neural MT system. Okay, so only 32% came from a statistical system. So by looking at that analysis, you can make take an inference that the neural translation is selected more by professional translators, and you can infer from that that it's obviously higher quality output. So that's the concept behind A/B testing. Okay, you present an A sample and a B sample. In this case, it's translations from 2 different engines, and you ask the translator to decide which is best. So how do you set up an A/B test? Well, very, very simple. You click on KantanLQR. So I've logged into the Kantan platform here. And you can see here I've logged in as Tony, that's my account name. And everybody that runs on the Kantan platform has 2 interfaces. They have the KantanMT platform and also the KantanLQR. LQR, by the way, stands for Language Quality Review. So that's what that stands for. And this is a free feature built into all of our accounts worldwide. So if you have an account on Kantan today, you can start using KantanLQR for your language quality review. So let's click on KantanLQR, and you can see we go into a kind of a similar interface to KantanMT. You can see that we have a tabbed interface here. And the first screen that I'm brought to here is, I beg your pardon, I've scrolled down there too much, is the screen I'm going to use to control or manage all of my quality review projects. Now, I've logged in as manager here, so I'm going to be the person that creates the project, sets the project up, assigns professional translators to the project, and then monitors the feedback that the translator gives me throughout this project as well. So remember, I'm the project manager here, not the reviewer. And that's very important when I show you what the reviewer interface of this system looks like. So I want to create a new project. So again, as before, you simply click on the new wizard, which is a new project wizard. And I'm going to say my AB sample project ROJC, and I'll just say it's my demo. And you can see now that I have to choose from two project types. So I can do a quality evaluation, which we talked about in previous sessions. A quality evaluation project is if you want to talk about or measure the attributes of translation quality, and we use the MQM framework to do that, or we also use the DQF, the Dynamic Quality Framework, as well. But in this case here, I'm doing a far simpler test. I'm purely going to ask the translators to choose which is the best translation from a neural system or a SMT system. So it's an A/B test. So I'll select A/B test, and I'll hit next. Now it asks me to declare the source and target language for the test. So in this particular test I'm going to set up today, my source language is English, and my target language, believe it or not, for this test, I'm throwing caution to the wind here, is going to be simplified Chinese, probably one of the most complex languages to translate into, hence the reason we chose it as a test for one of our neural engines, because you can actually access our neural Chinese engine today on the platform by using the Kantan Fleet feature. So I'm going to say next to that. I'm going to start the project today. Today is the start of the project, and I'm just going to hit the create button there. So that actually creates me a blank project. So that just gives the project a name. So if I go down here, you can see that the project is called My AB Sample Project Demo. You can see it there, and it's bolded, so it means it's my active project. It's going from English into Chinese. So now what I need to do is actually give this project some test data in order to display this test data to my reviewers. So to do that, I just click on my test data tab. And because this is an A/B test, when I click on Add Test Data, it asks me for the sourced segments. Okay, so this is the original, in this case it's English because it's an English-Chinese A/B test. So earlier on today, I actually created some English text test. And this is actually 500 English sentences that I gave to a neural engine to translate, as well as one of our statistical engines to translate. So I'm just going to select all that data, Control A, and just copy it into the clipboard and simply paste it into that control. So that's my source text. So it's the English reference text. Then I hit next, and then the system's smart enough to know this is an A/B test. So it's asking me for A samples and B samples. So I have that done previously. Again, I'm going to pop over into this editor, and I'm going to, this is the output from a neural MT. This is one of our neural MT engines. So again, that's in Chinese, simplified Chinese. I'm going to just click and copy all that text into my clipboard. And I'm going to paste that in as my A sample. So that's going to be displayed as the A sample to the translator. And I'm going to look at my B sample, which is, again, is the output from a statistical machine translation system. So again, I'm going to just select all that data and copy it into my clipboard and paste it in there. So now I have my sample A and my sample B, and all I need to do then is just add that to the project. So I'll hit OK there, and that will now add all those test segments to the project for me. Okay, so you can see here in the test data, I have all the segments here in this little control in the test data tab. If I actually drill into each of those segments, you'll see that I have the source text, and then I have the sample translation A and sample translation B. So what I'm going to ask the translator now to do is to choose either of these translations to see if it's good or bad, or if they're the same. Okay, so it's an evaluation of translation. Now, in order to assign a translator to this project, I just click on the Reviewer tab, and again, you just click. Now, remember, this is a really cool system, so I can add in as an unlimited number of reviewers. In this particular example here, I'm only adding in one reviewer, which happens to be my alias email address, so I can access the system. But you can add in, 10 or a dozen or more reviewers, and the system will automatically contact those reviewers for you, setting up this project by sending them an email, and will allow them to access the project automatically by just simply clicking on a link in that email. So it's really, really cool. They don't have to install any software. They don't have to worry about configuring their machine. We do all the hard work by simply sending them an email for you on your behalf. So I'll just throw that into there. So there's only one reviewer, which is me, and I'll hit add that, and I've just got a confirmation that it's been added to my project. So I've got the project set up here. So if I go back into my project list here, you can see that that project now is ready to go. And you see I've got this little spinner control here, and that means that project has already contacted that translator, and it's waiting for that translator or reviewer to actually start working on the project. So let me switch over to a different browser here. I've logged into this browser as tony@dcu@gmail.com. So I'm logged in as, this is my, what I refer to as my reviewer account. Now, because I'm a reviewer here, you can see that I'm immediately brought into my KantanLQR project. You see I don't have any option here to go into KantanMT because using this account is only a reviewer's account. And you can see here that I have the project that I'm working on. It's just popped up into the screen there. So there's the project there, my AB sample project. So what I need to do now is accept that project as the reviewer. So to accept that project, I just click the accept button. So I'll just say accept that project. And once it's accepted, I can then click on the edit. So watch what happens when I go into edit mode here. So remember, I'm a reviewer. I've been tasked to review this project. It's an A/B test. And I've been asked to select which is sample A better than sample B. So I'll select the edit button. And it goes into my review here. So you can see straight away, here's my original source text. And here's my two Chinese translations. Okay, so this is sample A, sample B. Now, in fact, we randomize the samples. So the translator doesn't know if this is sample A or sample B. We change the order on a randomized way so that the translator doesn't get to kind of start preempting the system, thinking that the top one is always sample A. So in this particular example here, they're identical Chinese, so I can just say that they're the same. In this particular example here, here's a new sentence. Let's see, it's a randomized sentence here. And in this particular example, the B sample is actually better there. In this particular example here, it's sample A is better there. In this example here, it's sample B. So what the translator simply needs to do is select whether it's A or B, or if they are the same as it is in this example here. B is better there, the top one is better there, and so on. Now, the beauty about this is that if you have 20 or 30 translators doing this all at the one time, they're all served up different source and target text. So you get through your testing very, very quickly. And what's really cool about this is that if I jump back into my project management mode, which is my standard Kantan account, I can click on this little statistical button here, and it can actually show me in real time the results of the translation. So you can see here that there's only one translator has accepted this project. You can see it there, it's me there, you see there. And even in the small sample that I've actually reviewed, it's telling me that sample B, target B, has received more votes or has been selected more than sample A. So if you look at the results here, it says 4 segments were rated as the same. Sample A, only 3 segments were rated as better, and sample B, 5 segments were rated as better. So this is real-time data analytics. So as more and more translators start to appraise and evaluate your translation, these graphs dynamically change to show you the difference in the quality between those two engines. And as I said, what you use this for is to determine the qualitative improvement in the output between a statistical engine and a neural engine. Okay, so using human translators for the first time, you can do these really simple tests, but they're very powerful results. As I said, in the test that we ran recently on one of our Spanish engines, 68% was chosen by professional translators, and that text was generated by a neural system. 32% came from a statistical system. So this gives you a sense of the improvement that, and Spanish would be a good starting language for any neural engine. So once that project is finished, I can go back into my KantanLQR. If we're halfway through the project and we decide, look, it's pretty conclusive, the neural engine is performing better, what we can actually do is we can halt that project. And what that actually does then is notify all the translators that the project has been halted, and it actually won't allow them to do any more work on that project. So I can just halt that project now. And that's a great way for a project manager to start a project and be able to finish it even if it doesn't get to the very end of the evaluation process. If the results are conclusive after a small sample, he can just kill the project or pause the project and look at the results straight away. So I've just showed you there in the last 10 minutes how to use KantanLQR, how to create a A/B test rather than a quality improvement test or quality evaluation test in order to measure the difference of quality from a neural system to a statistical system. However, we don't stop there. In actual fact, believe it or not, you can actually create not only an A/B test, but you can do an A/B/C test and an A/B/C/D test. So you can have 2 samples, 3 samples, and 4 samples. So for instance, you might want to throw in, say, the translation of your sample text from, say, a third-party engine, say a Google engine or maybe a Bing engine, and compare your engines then to not only your own statistical engine, but also maybe somebody else's statistical engine as well as your neural engine. So you've got lots of different ways of working with the data in this particular test. Now, once again, thank you very much for suggesting that topic. I hope I did it justice. I hope it was helpful to you and it gave you a good understanding of how to actually use KantanLQR as a great companion product, especially as you start exploiting and moving over to using the neural technology that's coming your way in the next week on the Kantan platform. Once again, thank you for your attention, and I look forward to talking to you next month. Take care. All the best.